Hello everybody, my name is Vedant Yesi. Today I had my first workout with my friend Kushnud. He pushed me to the extreme with this workout. We spent almost like half an hour just doing a warm-up, which already felt exhausting, and then we were doing the actual training. We both had to take rest because of how little we've trained beforehand, or rather how ill prepared we felt. But this was what he learned when he was in boxing school, when he lived in Uzbekistan. That was really fun. It challenged me a lot, and I felt many times that I wasn't really adequate for it, but I just kept getting back up and kept pushing. That was like the main thing with this workout today. Later, after that, I went to work. I actually watched the Superman movie while at work. Thankfully, my workplace allows me to kind of watch movies while I'm doing my stuff, because a lot of it is data entry, which feels very menial, and I can genuinely just do that at this point I can do it almost without looking at the screen at all. And it's become very easy for me to just have multitask and have my phone playing something. Usually I just look at audiobooks and stuff like that. I believe it was yesterday that I said that I finished Hemingway's The Sun Also Rises, but today I finished, I think his name is Paulo something else, like Carisi or something like that. Paulo Carisi's, we're gonna call him that, The Alchemist. I had started it recently. I believe I said it in one of like my old 40-minute video. I said how I had started it this semester, second semester, in I believe April, because my cousins were recommending that I read it, and just recently I finished it. I listened to the audiobook version on my phone, and I finished like the last 60 pages within maybe 1 hour, and it was a very fun read. In comparison to The Sun Also Rises, The Alchemist was actually way more enjoyable. Something that I saw that was a really weird comparison between the two would be like, in The Alchemist, the actual character, the alchemist, doesn't show up until much later on. In all technicalities, he kind of does, because he shows up in many forms, such as like an old king or omens and stuff like that. But the main character, the shepherd boy, is kind of taken aback by this guy, and unfortunately their little quest only lasts those last like 60 pages or so, which I found kind of weird. I guess it was almost half the book, so I can't really say anything, but it only felt like an hour of reading. Besides that, again, I finished the Superman movie today. Started and finished. I started maybe half of it yesterday, or like 30 minutes, half an hour of it yesterday. That's what I wanted to say. I started that, finished it today. I absolutely love it. It is everything that it is supposed to be in a superhero movie, and it does everything perfectly with all the old cinema and filmmaking methods of like showing all the characters, like the Superman flying, as well as Superman's interactions with the characters, how all the characters talked for that time period, as well as the transitions and like how the CGI was back in the day. And this is a completely new movie, and you wouldn't be able to guess that at all. You would think it'd be made in like the 90s or something, or like the 80s, because of how old-timey it felt, but it was just perfect for what it was, like the timing. I forgot to say, the setting for today is my closet. I have a bunch of jackets and long sleeves on the rack, as well as long sleeves here. I usually keep my other clothes, such as my jeans and shirts, kind of just in a dresser jar. Other than that, I want to say that I didn't really have much to talk about today. I believe I came up with a concept, but I forgot it. Until I do remember it again, I suppose I'll talk about music videos. I've always been into music videos and MTV, stuff like that. I think my first introduction was when my mom was taking me to her friend's place, as she does and like used to and still does eyebrow threading, as well as like waxing and parlor stuff, I suppose you could say. And that's a very old Indian tradition, as to get, or for women, is to get their eyebrows kind of threaded and like mustache threaded out, or like waxing their arms and legs, stuff like that. And I was too young at the time to be left alone at the house, so she would take me on her. She would travel to these people's places to do their eyebrows and what have you. And I was just kind of sitting there in the living room while she was doing her job. The kind lady told me, "Hey, if you want, you can put on something on the TV." So I just turned it on and see, and the first thing that came on was MTV. I immediately started like watching all the old Bollywood music videos, because this is back in India. I watched that and I fell in love immediately. I absolutely love music videos for what they are. There's quite a lot in India from the prime age, I want to call it, from Bollywood, with Amir Khan acting in, say, his PK movie and his Three Idiots movie. Both are amazing watches if you haven't seen them. Like true displays of Indian culture, in my opinion, as exaggerated as they are. And I really do enjoy that time of Bollywood movies. That's what I grew up with. And then coming over to America, you don't see that as much. And the stuff that you do see, such as like something that I really loved watching was 3 Days Grace's music videos, like Animal I Have Become. I used to love that song. That, as well as Maroon 5 music videos. But all these music videos, Gangnam Style was huge back in the day, right? So all these music videos were sensational in terms of my upbringing. And speaking of my upbringing, this is actually what I wanted to talk about. I remembered it just now. I wanted to be a pirate growing up. I remember this. I talked to my mom and a bunch of my teachers about this, and like my friends, and I was very happy with the whole pirate thing. At first I had seen Pirates of the Caribbean with one of my cousins. He showed me the movies on his laptop that he pirated, and I had seen it and I had watched the entirety of it with him, and I was just in love with Jack Sparrow's character and like pirates out on the sea. I didn't really care that they were like dirty and washbuckling people or anything like that. They had to do hard labor. I always just loved the fact that there was such camaraderie and such unity between them in their plundering and pillaging of the British Empire or like Spanish Empire or what have you. I was able to get Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, which is an entire game about you just being a pirate sailing the seven seas as this character named Edward Kenway. Soon I'll be making an artwork about, or like a fan art of him, and I'm very excited because I have it all planned out in my head as like the poses he's gonna have and like the colors that I'm gonna use, stuff like that. So I'm very excited for that, and hopefully I'll be able to share it here on YouTube. Besides that, I remember the only reason why I didn't go full throttle on the pirate thing as a kid was, one, there was no pirates in my area that I could really talk to. Like there was nobody in the profession of piracy, right? And that's not really a profession that you'd want your kid to go into. So my parents really just wrote it off as, oh, he's just a boy doing boy things and like playing with his imagination. One of my teachers told me, no, pirates are, I remember this was in grade school. I was a kid and I was telling all my friends about it, and my teacher overheard. She told me, no, pirates are bad people. They pillage and plunder and they do all these bad things. They steal from people. They're thieves. Like they're just thieves on the sea is how she phrased it. And that kind of broke my heart, you know, all these authority figure telling me, hey, this person that you look up to, this role model that you look up to of these pirates kind of being the Robin Hoods of their community, or for people that are outcasts, they're not actually good people. And that broke my heart. Yeah, it genuinely made me feel so bad about it, but that's what I wanted to be as a kid. And I guess embody that in the things that I allegedly do today, right? In terms of, I totally do not have Clip Studio Paint. I do not have FL Studio on my computer. I never pirated any games whatsoever on my old laptop before I switched over to my new one. So none of that happened ever. All right. So allegedly never happened, you know. But I kind of just embody that figure in my day-to-day routine. Try to explore different routes, be a risk taker in terms of, I know everybody says don't take too many risks, right? Especially in this time of my life. Adults and people that are slightly older than me, or like my parents, or people adjacent to my parents, they will say to me like, oh, don't take too many risks. That's not really good. You could get yourself hurt or put in a bad situation. But without taking risks, without being a risk taker, I feel like I wouldn't be able to express myself properly, right? This is kind of a risk that I'm taking with the YouTube videos. I'm putting my thoughts and feelings out there in opposition, I guess, to what my rational mind would be saying. I was feeling really lazy right before this. I'm recording this at what, 9:15. Usually I'd be on a call with my friends, and lately it's just been getting later and later that I've been recording, and I have to just be okay with that if I want to be lazy and record. That's the biggest thing right now. But yeah, in your own life, try to embody the type of person that you think you want to be. If you want to be like an accountant or something, I don't know why you would, try to embody features that you think an accountant would have, right? Have a more grown interest in math if you want, something like that. And these jobs and positions only apply for those who actually have a set goal. I really didn't have one besides the pirate thing growing up, and that didn't feel realistic to a lot of people. So when I told them, yeah, I don't really know what I want to do, they were like, okay, just do engineering because you're Indian and you can just get a degree in that, right? So that's what I'm doing right now. And I mean, this freshman year for me has always been hard. The first time I do something, I always feel like I'm gonna fail, and a lot of times I do, right? It might be a cause and effect thing, it might be a correlation thing, who knows? I definitely do know for a fact though that I simply need to bounce back. I just need to get the engineering degree and get out into the world. That's the biggest thing. And success isn't really something that I'm worried about. What I'm worried about is being somebody great, being somebody that people can look up to, and people not necessarily idolize, but somebody that people can relate to as a person, that not like a Superman, right? One thing I absolutely love about the Superman movies and just DC in general is how unhuman they make everybody. Batman's the only human that like doesn't have any superpowers, and yet everybody fears him and looks up to him. Why? Because he has an insane amount of training in martial arts, he has these cool gadgets, and he has a very brilliant mind that makes him almost superhuman in that sense. They're unattainable figures that we should aspire to be. And I want to I don't know if I want to be that type of person, right? I know I am my own person with my own flaws, and I don't want to be idealized, but I also do want to be like a shining light, a guiding person, somebody who can help people, and somebody who can be there for those that may not be as fortunate as me. That's like the best way I can put that. So there's a lot to think about in that one, but that's just kind of my thoughts for today. Today is May 21st, 2025. Maybe I'll start listing off the days as I record them, because I do want to plan on recording every single day. Thank you for your time. Bye bye.